Merry Meet, Annie here. This video is in response to this week's pagan perspective topic, which is psychic gifts. And a viewer by the name of Moonfire is the one who sent in this particular question, and she referred to psychic gifts, and she mentioned that New Age books are filled with fancy tricks to draw out our psychic gifts, and she asked us what we thought about that. I've probably, when I have worked with students in person or talked with young people or people exploring the path online, come into more frustration from them on this topic than perhaps many other topics that they are exploring. From what they read, they think that part of this path is one becomes an empath, or one becomes psychically talented, or at the times of thin veils, one automatically is having an in-depth conversation sitting across the altar from departed loved ones. And it can be very frustrating when that is not part of someone's experience of our path. Now, when we train and we study and we work with teachers or explore on our own, we are in that process coming in touch with deeper parts of ourselves. We are learning to recognize our own instinct, the voice within, wherever that source comes from for us. So we are touching on the potential of who we can be when we explore our deeper depths. But the truth is that may or may not be for any one of us some deepening of psychic abilities. Divination at a very powerful level is learning to become still, to recognize patterns and repeating patterns in our lives, to take lessons from being aware, which oftentimes cannot happen unless we still ourselves, sometimes using a tool, a meditation tool, prayer, spell work, even ritual. Now, whether for any one of us that becomes some kind of a quickening of psychic, quote, power, remains to be seen. I personally in my life have collected many experiences of mystery and wonder and things not describable by known fact. But I would not consider myself psychic or even an empath, nor is it something that I have any desire to expand. It seems we all have certain sets of gifts, and part of the process of studying is determining which of those gifts we personally cherish the most and want to expand and deepen. And while I believe it is very important in any spiritual study that we learn to be still and be aware and pay attention and almost at times observe our life for patterns and lessons that are available, and to follow our instinct. Great part of becoming spiritually mature is listening to what your heart and your mind and your soul tells you. I agree. It does seem that modern books on paganism in the New Age books section are full of one cannot be a witch without developing one's psychic abilities. And for my response to this week, I will put out there that I see that as different from simply expanding one's own consciousness and becoming sensitive and aware and alert. It's almost a form of listening. It may take the form that we are talented at divination. It may take the form that we are good at counseling others, that we become sensitive to energies we were not sensitive to before. But I would counsel anybody who's studying this path from a spiritual standpoint to avoid things like psychic development. It's not as mysterious as that to my mind. It is about exploring the entirety of ourselves, coming to know ourselves powerfully and ourselves in relationship to everything that is not ourselves. And many feel they're set up to fail. At Samhain, if you went through the effort to do a rite to honor your ancestors, and you did, you remembered your love for them and their love for you, and you then feel that you have failed as a pagan, Wiccan, whatever, because you didn't have an actual conversation with them, which you could interpret as lacking in psychic ability. There is a danger in using a spiritual path to connect to that kind of thing. I'm not against it. I'm not against anybody who likes to describe their powers as psychic ability. I do think that we work and study and learn and grow, and the more we know of ourselves and the more we know of the universe, the more we will pick up on things we did not pick up on before. The more we will use parts of our brain we did not use before. But I would like to put out there that not everyone has a talent that lies in the area that these books refer to as psychic development. And so often I find that it disappoints readers of these books because they are thinking that this is the way they will be if they just apply themselves. The process is to learn what your personal power is, what your abilities, your innate talents are, and to explore them to their depths. What you do or do not call it, well, you'll make that decision. I am one witch who would say she does not have psychic ability. I put that in the same category with supernatural abilities. It's all a process of learning our deepest natural selves. And our gifts are many and they are varied, and not everyone will develop every aspect of the list of things one could be as an enlightened or more spiritual individual. But we each have momentous power that is unique and truly our own. So perhaps I have not a lot to say on the subject of psychic awareness, because in all actuality, I don't know what that means, and it sounds like something that would be part of a New Age book, rather than a spiritual sensitivity or awareness that is heightened the more one learns and experiences. So if you are someone who would say you have psychic ability, then I would look forward to learning, what does that mean to you? Was it something you already had? Something that you explored further and have gotten more skilled at? And what is skilled in relation to it? So I actually have more questions on this one than I would have answers. But it is an interesting subject of the week, and I am looking forward to people's responses. I wish you mirth and reverence. Merry Part.